What's going on, everybody? Welcome into VR Wednesday, where every Wednesday we'll do a full VR game or experience review to let you know on whether it's worth picking up. Now, if you've already played this, feel free to leave a comment below to let everybody else know what you thought of it, but we'll talk about things like comfort, graphics, physics, and replayability, and we'll go through each one of those. So let's get into it. So let's break down The Room VR. This is a game that I've played on my phone or my iPad, the different iterations over the years, but this is a brand new experience for me on VR. And the number one thing that comes up with almost every game is it comfortable, as in motion sickness, and what's the comfort level like? Before I give you the rating, I will say that I'm more of a 4 out of a 5. Extreme movement will mess with me, and I probably can't play those games. So I rate myself about a 4 out of a 5 because I've been doing VR for a long time. For this game, though, it's a 5 out of 5. It's really comfortable. You only jump move to places. It's nothing too overly dramatic. And this one is a simple 5 out of 5. There's almost no issues with this one at all. I'd be surprised if anybody had any comfort issues. So right away, this is a solid pickup for that. Next up, the controls. How are the controls? I am playing on a Quest 2, and for me, everything feels perfect. Everything feels great. When I go to pick stuff up, when I go to move around, everything is exactly where I want it to be. Everything does what I need it to do. There's only a few issues that I had with grabbing onto ropes, but I think that's more just the sensors picking up. But overall, in terms of the controls, there's not a lot of complexities to this, but you can use both hands to do different things, which makes it easy. There's a lot of things that are actually one-handed, so it doesn't matter which hand you use. You can't use the other, but there are a few times where if I'm grabbing a rope, I can use two hands. Makes for a natural motion. So controls overall for me, 5 out of 5. The graphics for this are amazing. Now, not only because it just looks really good and they've done a really good job on the graphics, but the scaling. Something for me that I absolutely love is the scaling. When it's something that's more realistic in this instance, I want to feel like I'm the right size. I'm a large individual, so trying to figure that out might be a little different. I don't know if that actually works in VR, but I actually feel like I'm scaled to the right size within VR. Graphically, it looks great. And when it comes to the scaling, I think that's where they nailed it. So I feel like I'm in these places. I feel like I'm the appropriate size. And to me, that's a big win. So that's a 5 out of 5 for me. When it comes to the physics, there's a little bit of physics that go into this, not necessarily directly in your control, but more of the physics of things that you're handling. I don't want to get into spoilers, but it does feel like the physics, whether it's pulleys or levers or turning stuff with wheels, that actually feels amazing. There's like turn wheels. I don't think I'm giving away anything on this one, but there's things that you grab onto and you turn. And so like the turn radius or the pull, when it goes with you, it actually feels like everything is how it's supposed to be. So physics wise, I like this a lot. I think everything does what it's supposed to do. There's no weird physics. I think if the game was intended to be more fantasy, then maybe we'd consider that. But physics, they nailed it. All right, these next two almost go hand in hand, but I like to talk about them separately. One of them is the cost to time ratio. One of the best instances of this is Vader Immortal or something like that. That's a shorter experience, but some people say the price is too high. You're paying for a title and you're paying for the experience there, and you're paying less for, I guess, the game itself in that instance. So for this, I've heard people talk about it taking them around 3 hours. For me, it's taken a little bit longer. I did have some entertaining moments on stream and doing some things like that. But I think that for most people, it'll be minimum 3 hours, but if not more. But when it comes to replayability, once you've figured it out, the odds of you playing it again aren't super high. But there are multiple profiles so that more than one person can play and they don't have to pick up and you don't have to share a save, which is really cool. But in terms of replayability, I don't think that when I finish this that I'm going to be playing it again. Once you figure out the puzzles, it just doesn't have the same feel. That's kind of the whole aspect of it. I've never played a room game twice, but that's okay. Which leads us to our next part. The cost of time. And when it comes to the cost of time played, this is a big one for me. I don't want to pay $30 for something, play 2 hours, and then be done with it and not feel good about it. And for me, this game, The Room VR, actually feels like I'm getting my money's worth. Do I wish that it was 10, 20 hours? Sure. I definitely wish every one of my VR experiences could carry on forever. But in terms of what I get out of it, the enjoyment that I get, the fact that I can share it, I can stream it to my phone and share it with my wife, and vice versa, and we can interact on this together. That to me, I think is worth the cost for me. And a lot of people might not want to justify that price, but when it comes to what you get out of it, all the things that I mentioned before, the graphics, the physics, the problem solving, which is the actual gameplay, and the puzzle solving, I actually really like this. So I actually give the cost to time ratio a 5 out of 5 just because I actually love the Room VR series. Some of you might feel differently, and I think that's why some people in the Oculus reviews rate it 4 out of 5. I think that they're being a little harsh, but I wouldn't blame them at all. Overall, for me, I think the time to cost ratio is actually perfect. So where does that leave us with the Room VR? This has been one of my favorite experiences or games. I don't really know which one we throw it in. Technically, it's a game because it's a puzzle game, but at the same time, it feels like an experience because if you can't figure it out, there's gonna be hints along the way so you can get through it. It's a time thing, so you can't just get all the hints. But it does allow you to move forward no matter what. Even if you can't figure it out over a little bit of time, you can get that hint and move forward. I recommend don't use the hints. It's much more fun. You'll definitely get more time out of it if you don't use those. So it's up to you on how you feel about those. But for me, when it comes to the VR, the Room VR, I actually love this. This has been one of my favorite games that I've bought so far. I've been doing this for so long. So when I saw the Room VR was here and available, I had to give it a shot. I love this game. And I think you will too. So thank you for watching. This is actually the first episode of VR Wednesday. Don't forget to subscribe for Wednesday videos that will be covering VR. I'll also be streaming VR on Wednesdays on Twitch, so you can see me play those games live a week beforehand. So make sure and hop over there and check out. I also stream some other games on other days, but we will be focused on VR Wednesdays. Thank you all so much for hanging out. Let me know in the comments what you think of this game and whether you're going to be picking it up. And if you've already picked it up, let everybody else know what you think about it before they do, and they can make an educated decision. Thank you guys. See you next time.